Oh my god. I hope I'm live. Let me just say yes. Uh, Cool. I shall continue studying.
Picture we have already seen that in client server model, client server model, the basically working in a bank.
Just one more thing. I forgot to share this link in my Twitter for the link and Twitter for the next post. Okay. Sorry. Previous stream got video started. Now deep post on Twitter.
Banking environment or retailing environment, marketing environment, and the software are working in this kind of environment are ERP, and it also provides customer relationship management and SAP, Oracle, Microdynamics. These are the basic the software company who basically provide the ERP system or distribution of ERP or manufacturing ERP system. Okay, so now one thing is there, that is what is the problem in client server model. So the problem in client server model means more client and means more client means more load. So one example I have given when I taught your class, when I was when I teaching your class, that suppose a family has there is a small family, and they need a small car, and in this car they can in a small family there are three peoples are there, and they have suppose a small Maruti car. So in this Maruti car, they all are basically sitting arrangement of everybody's are there, so they can use this Maruti car. But after some time, if their family is increasing, the member of the family is increased, so this car is very small for that family. So either they will buy a same kind of cars, another Maruti car, and settle down all family member by these two cars. But or they will actually do not take this kind of similar car again and again. For instead of this, they will buy a bigger car, which is some maybe some like XUV and like this. Okay, some bigger car or bigger configuration car. Okay, so same thing is happen over here. There is, you can see in the picture, there is one server machine and multiple client machines are there. So client programming is running in the client machine and database is running in the server machine. But sometimes the number of client is increased. So number of client is increased. For that, the server machine cannot take the load of uh, two so many client machine. For that, we need similar kind of server again here like this, similar kind of server. So if it is a database server, it is also, it must be database server, same kind of server. That's why the homogeneous server terms is coming. So two homogeneous server are taken, same kind of two homogeneous server are taken. Or another option is, so first option is either we buy same server with same configuration. Okay, so if it is a database server, another is also a database server with same configuration, and this is called homogeneous server. Okay, but so at this point of time, so this client machine like this client machine, the client doesn't know that where its program is basically running, in this server, in this particular server, or this particular server. Even this client machine doesn't know where his data are stored, in this particular server or this particular server, because both are homogeneous server connected in a high configuration interconnection network. So maybe this client machine connected with this server, 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 and this client machine connected with this server. So this is unknowingly, when client machine cannot client machine do not understand or do not not knowing that his database, where his database is stored, and where his application programming is running, because there are two set of database server. Okay, so either this kind of configuration we can take, or second configuration, instead of two server, we take a high configuration database server. So high configuration database server. Okay, so this is actually the client to cluster movement. अब पहले हम लोग क्लाइंट मशीन का कुछ डेफिनेशन देख लेते हैं, क्लाइंट सर्वर का, उसके बाद कस्टमर. So what is client server architecture? It's a centralized network architecture. You just take the terms. The keywords are very important. That it is a centralized network system. Why it is called centralized network system? Because in one geographic location, the whole things are happening. So in particular geographic location, the whole things are happening. Same geographic location, server machines is also there and client machines are also there. So servers maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, or maybe one high configuration server, all, and maybe 7 to 8 or 8 to 9 or 9 to 10, 10 to 100 client machines are there, but all are in same geographic location, and all the server are homogeneous server. So client machine is basically follow the centralized network architecture. This is the first and foremost important point of client server model. That classifies this centralized system is basically classify computer into two sections, client and server. So client and server, there are two parts in client server architecture. One is called client. This is a client. In client machine, there is a client. This is called client. And in a server machine, this is my server machine, and this is I am writing server. So in client machine there are two things, two sections are there. One is client, another is server. Now client is the requester. Client क्या करता है? Requester, as a requester काम करता है. क्या request करते हैं? Request कैसे करते हैं? By through a program, and he also pass the parameter with the program that I cannot process. Server, please process my program. Okay, that is the thing. Here it is written that which can be program that we use to make request. As a program वो request भेज रहा है और उस program के अंदर parameter भी है, और किसके थ्रू भेज रहा है? Through a network जिसके अंदर parameter included है. So parameter included है, मतलब क्या है? यहाँ पे client machine के नीचे यहाँ पे रहता है client stub, STUB, client stub. ये client stub का काम क्या होता है? रिक्वेस्ट भेजना. किस टाइप का रिक्वेस्ट भेजता है? एक फंक्शन या एक प्रोग्राम के अंदर पैरामीटर रहता है. These are the parameters रहता है, और इसको ये पास कर देता है इंटरकनेक्शन नेटवर्क के थ्रू सर्वर मशीन में. Now server machine is also maintain a register. That register means several client requests are there. Not only a single cluster, several client requested are there. So then in this register, client server stub, there is a client stub. Similarly, there is a server stub. STUB, STUB. Okay, server stub. So server stub check the register and one by one solve the client's request. Okay, so when this client machine request, suppose this is client machine 1, request is coming to the server stub, it just open the program and check the parameter and functions of all the program and do the and execute it, do the result, and that result again it send back to the client machine. Okay, and again it send back to the client stub, and client stub actually application program or program output will show in a client machine. Okay, so this type of architecture is generally called the remote procedure call. This is called remote procedure call, which you have already studied in your network section. RPC, remote procedure call. This is called remote procedure call or distributed object. Distributed object means आप थोड़ा सा नीचे की तरफ जाते हैं. The server is response provider. ये तो हमने देख लिया. Which program and that listen for the client request and response to them. Sometime server component provide a function or services one or many client. ये मैंने पहले बता दिया, तभी registry maintain करता है, which initiate the request for such services. Now server itself might be a client. Sometimes server is also working as a client. ये कब होता है? Suppose the server is busy with lot of program client request. Then server requests the another server, which is maybe the remote location or maybe the same location. Okay, so there are the server 2 is there in a either remote location or in a same location. Okay, server 2 is there. So server machine send the program that to the another server machine. So is the server machine, and this program with the parameter, this server machine 2 will solve the problem and execute the result, and that result after that result is basically as a packet form. He sends as a packet form because result हमेशा क्या होता है कि उसको secure format में भेजेंगे. तो secure format में कैसे भेजेंगे? As a packet form, it's sent back to the server machine, and this server machine check the result, and then it is again sent to the client machine. So here this server 1 is act as a client because he is busy, he is not free at that time, so he can use the another server. We have already seen here that there are two server we have taken here. So if this server machine is busy, it will just pass the message to next server machine, but client doesn't know that which server it is processed. Either it is processed in over here, or here. So client side, it is not knowing that his program is basically serving by this server machine or this server machine. So sometimes that's why it is written over here that server itself might be a client. For example, server cloud request sometime from a database server, which is in these would be make the server and a client of the database server. मतलब another database server, one database server is basically send the request to another database server to solve the client problem. Okay, so and client machine where generally client machine use for emailing purpose. We at a time send multiple person, single email to multiple person, network printing, and obviously world wide web. This is very important, world wide web, because world wide web means in a web there are a number of web pages are there, and as a client machine, many client machine can access different web pages or same web pages from the world wide web, www. Okay, so this is all about the architecture of client machine. Okay, so after client server model, we have going to cluster part, because it is the extension part of the cluster machine. This cluster I have already made in a previous section, that these are the client machine, and if the load is increased, then similar kind of two server machine is over here. Again, if the client machine load is increased, then again another server machine will be coming over here, and it is connected through switch. Okay, this is actually called switch or any other interconnection network, not only switch, any other interconnection network. So term should be clear, interconnection network. Okay, so in these ways, number of time the client machine is increases, maybe the server machine should be increased. Okay, because of load balancing. So what we because of load balancing, so this client machine doesn't know where his data actually stored, either it is in here or whether it is here. Similarly, this client machine doesn't know where its programming is actually running, in this server machine or in this server machine. But these two server machine or three server machines are homogeneous, means same pattern, same configuration, same thing, everything are same. So this is called homogeneous server cluster, homogeneous server cluster, and it is also called cluster computer. Okay, so in this way nowadays this are coming in a rack. So this is actual architecture of cluster computing. So these are four rack 1, rack 2, rack 3, and rack 4. So each rack there are 16 computing nodes, not computer, it may be anything, server हो सकता है. So I'm just writing computing nodes, maybe server, maybe desktop, maybe workstation, like that. So here in this picture it is clear that it is a server. So 16 server, total 64 server, 16 into 4 rack, so 64 servers are there. Okay, and all are connected in a switch. This is my switch, and these are the storage area network. Storage area network, these are the switches, and these are the storage area network. And one storage area network I have already named them, that is SAN switch, storage area network. SAN का full form है storage, A is stands for area, and N is stands for network. That storage area connected with a network for each rack server. Okay, so there are the huge storage area for 64 server machines. Okay, but nowadays this kind of server machine is coming under the Almira pattern. Okay, so in a Almira, and we know that our HPC is also like this. HPC in VIP is also like this. This is a picture of HPC. Some of the student has already seen that in the lab classes, last classes, when number of students were very less. So I just tell them, okay, come and just explore the HPC. So in this HPC, this up to this rack is SAN switches are there. SAN switches are there. This is the storage area network of this. This portion, these are the 4 rack server, 1 rack, 2 rack, 3 rack, and 4 rack. Okay, these are 4 rack server, and each rack have 8 servers. So 4 into 8, total 32 servers are there. So what is 32 server? You just write down 32 compute nodes are there. Compute nodes are there, and this is the master. This black spot is there. It is not visible properly. So once again, I will show you in your in my lab that this is a master node. Master node. I'm always like writing computing node, master node. Okay. After that, there are 3 cloud nodes are there. 3 cloud nodes are there, and all are Linux based. All are Linux based. All servers are Linux based. चाहे वो compute server हो, master server हो, cloud server हो, all are Linux based. And after these 3, out of these 3, only 2 are working and 1 is not working. So ये अभी खोल के रखा हुआ है. And similarly, this portion there is a GPU node. Again, I am talking about node, not GPU compute node. Okay, GPU node is there, and remaining portions are called switches. Switches, which basically binding the whole server. Okay, so switches are there. So nowadays this is coming in a Almira spot. Okay, so all servers are same configuration. So this is a homogeneous servers rack, 4 rack server, homogeneous 4 rack server, total 32 servers are there, and it's called a cluster of server. It is called cluster of server. So cluster computing का definition देख लेते हैं. The cluster server means it's very cheaper price than the processor. Okay, so low cost alternatives are there, and server means it's very cheaper price than the processor. Okay, so low cost alternatives are there, and it is just like a supercomputer and mainframe जैसा ही काम करता है. 1980s में it was started. ठीक है, and it is a standard technology. It is not a parallel word. I am just cross out over here. It is a distributed and high performance computing. It is distributed and high performance computing. Okay, distributed because each server are doing their own work, and each server having their own local memory. Okay, so that's why it is distributed. Do the same work but distributed manner. Do same work but distributed manner. So the whole thing considered as a unit, one unit. Okay, so built by commodity machines. अब सर्वर की जगह हम यहाँ पे commodity machines भी यूज कर सकते हैं. तो सर्वर हो गया तो उसको हम लोग बोलेंगे क्लस्टर सर्वर. तो हमारा जो HPC है वो हमारा क्लस्टर सर्वर है. ठीक है, वैसे ही क्लस्टर डेस्कटॉप भी हो सकता है. डेस्कटॉप ऑफ क्लस्टर भी बोल सकते हैं डेस्कटॉप. तो वहाँ पे क्या होता है, कॉमोडिटी मशीन्स मतलब जो लो कॉस्ट मशीन होता है, दे वर चीपर देन मेनफ्रेम. ठीक है, एंड मेड हाई परफॉर्मेंस कंप्यूटिंग अवेलेबल टू अ लार्ज नंबर of group including universities and small research lab और startup company. This is very important. Startup company. तो startup company के लिए cluster एक बहुत बड़ा चीज है, because बहुत चीपर कॉमोडिटी मशीन्स को लैंड में कनेक्ट करके एक क्लस्टर बनाया जाता है. या वर्क स्टेशन चीपर, कॉमोडिटी मशीन मींस इट मे बी वर्क स्टेशन भी हो सकता है, बट इट इज चीपर देन द मेन फ्रेम. ओके, सो ऐसे ही कॉमोडिटी मशीन्स को अगर आप एक ही लैंड में कनेक्ट कर लो, आपस में भी वो कनेक्टेड है सब, तो वो हमारा हो जाएगा डेस्कटॉप क्लस्टर या वर्क स्टेशन क्लस्टर, जैसे आप उसका नाम लो. ठीक है, सो बेसिकली हमारे बीआईटी में लैब नंबर 1 में जो लिनक्स बेस्ड HPC है, दैट इज वन क्लस्टर, एंड अनदर क्लस्टर लैब 3 में है जो है डेस्कटॉप क्लस्टर. डेस्कटॉप क्लस्टर में 32 डेस्कटॉप्स है. ठीक है, और एक मास्टर डेस्कटॉप है, और बाकी जो छोटे छोटे डेस्कटॉप है इसका कॉन्फ़िगरेशन हायर है और बाकी का कॉन्फ़िगरेशन बहुत चीपर है. सो दिस आर कॉल्ड VMs, VM1, VM2, VM3, VM4, VM5, and they are all connected in a master, all connected with the master. So these are making a desktop cluster, and this desktop cluster and this is a server cluster. These two are connected in a client server model. So this configuration is making one cloud, and that cloud is provided by Manjaro Soft. ठीक है, Manjara Soft is made by Manjara Soft, and the owner of Manjara Soft is Rajkumar Boya, who is basically the inventor of cloud computing. Right now, he is in Melbourne University, professor in Melbourne University. I have already told you. Okay, so cluster technology continued considered.
Built by commodity machines, including cluster technology considered applied to evolution active examples for distributed computing instead of
And
grounded.
apply to evolve the tool and framework for distributed computing. It means every time your VMs can be evolving. VMs and tools, framework, all are evolving, changing, day by day changing according to the user requirement. If there are the startup company, when they develop their web pages, they want a better architecture. So they always choose a better tools, better framework, better operating system, so that their application runs properly. So this kind of cluster desktop, they either use commodity machine, cluster of commodity machine. That commodity machine can be anything. It may be a cluster of server, cluster of workstation, cluster of desktop. It can be anything in a distributed computing, and it is also used for virtual machine. Parallel virtual machine are working, number of parallel virtual machine are working. Obviously one master node रहता है और बाकी compute node रहता है. ये जो compute node होता है उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं virtual machine. This virtual machine may be virtual server, maybe virtual workstation, maybe virtual desktop. It can be anything. Okay, so one of the attractive feature of cluster was computational power of commodity machine. The computational power of commodity machine could be leveraged to solve problem were previously managed by high configuration computer called supercomputer. तो क्योंकि
What is commodity machine? Commodity machine refers to a widely available standard issue computer hardware that is inexpensive and interchangeable with purpose computational precision. Okay.
क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे हमने डेस्कटॉप का पोर्शन बढ़ा दिया तो जैसे ही कोई मैथमेटिक्स मल्टीप्लिकेशन कर रहा है तो ये डेस्कटॉप मास्टर क्या कर रहा है छोटे छोटे कंपोनेंट में सारे बीएम्स में उसको डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर दे रहा है तो सारा बीएम्स अपना पार्शियल रिजल्ट जनरेट कर रहा है और वो मास्टर के पास पार्शियल रिजल्ट को भेज रहा है मास्टर उसको डिस्प्ले कर रहा है जैसे प्रोसेसर में करते थे प्रोसेसर की जगह यहाँ पे बीएम्स यूज हो रहा है या कंप्यूटिंग नोड यूज हो रहा है तो कंप्यूटिंग नोड इज बीएम्स भी हो सकता है और बीएम वर्चुअल मशीन को मशीन है तो इट कैन बी सर्वर वर्चुअल सर्वर बोल सकता है इट कैन बी क्या बोलता है इट कैन बी workstation तो virtual workstation बोल सकते हैं it can be virtual it can be virtual machines any kind of virtual machine virtual desktop also so everything is done and how they interact with each other each and every virtual machine interact with message passing interface and they also interact with their master with this MPI by using this MPI message passing interface now moreover the cluster could be easily extended obviously number of virtual machine can be extended you can extend or you can add more and more virtual machines so your computational speed should be increased power was required and it is also require more power and because computational power is increased it means your bandwidth is also increasing okay so that is also a part of this I will come later way when I go for network virtualization now then I come to the point grid computing so grid is another scenario of client server model ठीक है so
Cloud
suppose
computing
one
is
bank
often
UCO
known as
Bank
grid
branch
and
is in
cluster.
Ranchi one UCO Bank branch is in Delhi one UCO Bank branch is in Bangalore now the UCO Bank manager or director suppose they want to they want that their whole branches maybe in one network maybe come in a one single network ठीक है so Delhi branch Bangalore branch Jharkhand branch or Bengal branch all are coming in a single network so that single network for that single network we need a high configuration interconnection network and that interconnection network is called the term read. So this is in different geographic location. So this is one geographic location. This is another geographic location. This is another geographic location. These all are in different geographic location, and these all are connected in a network. And this network are a whole network of UCO Bank. UCO Bank. Okay, this is a network of UCO Bank. Okay, branches of UCO Bank in one network. This is called because grid computing. Okay, and grid computing का दो processor. एक तो हो गया maybe a same client server model working in different geographic location. It means here whatever client server model are there that is in Delhi branch of UCO Bank, and here same configuration client server model are there that is working in UCO Bank Bangalore branch. Here also same client server model is there. Client server model is there, and that is working in just like that and that is working in our Jharkhand branch so service जो manager है that bank manager wants that his whole client server जितने भी client server उसके branches है all are connected in a network ऐसा नहीं कि अलग अलग रहे all are connected in a network maybe इसका जो client server model है वो कोई different काम कर रहा है ये जो client server model है वो कोई different काम कर रहा है ये जो client server model है वो कोई different काम कर रहा है ये जो client server model है वो कोई different काम कर रहा है but they want that all are connected in a single network this single network and this single network because different geographic location it means high bandwidth network high bandwidth network is needed so this kind of interconnection network with high bandwidth is called grid Okay, so I'm coming to the next architecture of grid. That grid is also the second definition of grid is, this is the second definition of grid, maybe a grid in same geographic location. सेम जोग्राफिक लोकेशन, एक तो हो सकता है अलग अलग जोग्राफिक लोकेशन में सेम कॉन्फ़िगरेशन का सर्वर हो और वो सबको एक नेटवर्क में कनेक्ट करना। और सेकंड डेफिनेशन है कि सेम जोग्राफिक लोकेशन में अलग अलग टाइप का सर्वर हो। वन इज डेटाबेस सर्वर, वन इज बेसिकली फाइल सर्वर, वन इज मेल ओरिएंटेड सर्वर, वन इज वेब सर्वर, वन इज मैसेज ओरिएंटेड सर्वर एंड वन इज वेब सर्वर। सो ऑल आर कनेक्टेड इन अ नेटवर्क, single network in same geographic location, single network in same geographic location. So this is also a kind of heterogeneous grid, heterogeneous grid. So grid may be heterogeneous, heterogeneity is there, or different geographic location it is homogeneous type, homogeneous type. So both definitions are correct for grid. Okay, so heterogeneous servers are there, different money, obviously heterogeneous means heterogeneous, different operating system should be there and different application server are there. Some are database server, maybe file server, mail server, web server, and some message oriented server, it can be. Okay, so same geographic location, heterogeneous server connected in a high configuration interconnection network, that is called grid. And first definition says the different geographic location, different client server model, the same kind of client server models are there, and the manager of a particular company, maybe a bank or a particular company, they need that their all branches are connected in a single network, and different geographic location, single network they are connected. So for that they need high configuration bandwidth network, and that network is called high configuration interconnection network or grid. Okay, so these two are the example of grid. Okay, so this is actually the यहाँ पे आप लोगों को दिख ही रहा है कि these are the workstation, this is actually the servers, file server, this is MOM मतलब mail oriented message oriented server, this is a mail server, message oriented server, this is suppose web server. ठीक है, these all are connected in a this is all are connected in a head node मतलब master node, मास्टर नोड मतलब एक नेटवर्क में कनेक्ट कर दिया अलग अलग सर्वर और एक मास्टर नोड यहाँ पे ऑलरेडी है, ऑल आर कनेक्टेड इन अ स्विच एंड देयर आर सो मेनी कंप्यूट नोड, these all are connected in a switch and this is switch connection and these are the compute node. So these compute node may be connected with this message oriented, this compute node may be connected with this web server node, this compute node is connected with the this node but through the master node, through the master node. Okay, so different service provided by different server, these are the heterogeneous server are there. So master node is basically handle all the different server, client request, compute node is a client request to the server that I want to access web server. So web server is free or not, that will check by the master server and he just give a space to the client machine or compute node that use this server. Okay, similarly this compute node is basically want to access the file server, so send the request to the master server send the request to the file server that it is free or not. If it is free then he will give accessing access permission for this computing node to access the file server. Okay, so these all are kind of grid computing. Okay, अब आते हैं definition. तो definition of grid computing. So grid computing appear nearly 1990s. It's the evolution of cluster computer. It is evolution of cluster computer मतलब cluster only homogeneous, but here heterogeneous terms is also there. ठीक है, so it's just like power grid or grid computing proposes a new approach to access the large computer power, huge storage facility and variety of service. Okay, जैसे कि हम लोग घर में रिसोर्सेज यूज करते हैं, पावर सप्लाई एक मास्टर होता है और उससे छोटे छोटे सर्वर्स में जाते हैं, छोटे छोटे घर में हमारे सप्लाईज आते हैं। ठीक है, लाइक पावर गैस के लिए होता है, वाटर के लिए होता है, ग्रिड इलेक्ट्रिसिटी के लिए होता है। ठीक है, तो वैसे ही हर ग्रिड जैसे काम करता है, यहाँ पे भी ग्रिड वैसे ही काम करता है। एक मास्टर होता है और वो कनेक्ट रहता है मल्टीपल फाइल सर्वर, डेटाबेस सर्वर और कोई और सर्वर, और यहाँ से क्लाइंट नोड और कंप्यूट नोड जस्ट रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं मास्टर को और मास्टर फिर इसका एक्सेसिंग पॉइंट इसको दे देता है, एक्सेसिंग रिक्वेस्ट दे देता है। ठीक है, तो यूजर कैन ग्रिड इनिशियली डेवलप as a aggregation, this is very important term, aggregation of geographically dispersed cluster. That's why I'm telling that it is the kind of homogeneous and heterogeneous both. But if it is in different geographic location and it is a cluster मतलब homogeneous, all geographic location are homogeneous servers are there. मतलब ब्रांच जैसे बैंगलोर में जो बैंगलोर में जो सर्वर है, बैंगलोर ब्रांच में जो सर्वर है, कोई कंपनी सपोज जैसे बॉस्टन कंसल्टेंसी, उसका बैंगलोर में भी ब्रांच है, फॉरेन में भी ब्रांच है, बॉम्बे में भी ब्रांच है। ठीक है, तो हर जगह में सेम काइंड ऑफ क्लस्टर यूज होता है और वो सारी क्लस्टर को जब एग्रीगेट किया जाता है तो उसके लिए हमारा जो इंटरकनेक्शन नेटवर्क यूज होता है उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं ग्रिड। इंटरकनेक्शन नेटवर्क यूज होता है उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं ग्रिड। तो ये हो गया डिफरेंट ज्योग्राफिक लोकेशन क्लस्टर आर देयर एंड दिस क्लस्टर आर कनेक्टेड विद द हाई कॉन्फ़िगरेशन इंटरकनेक्शन नेटवर्क। तो दिस इज अ वन काइंड ऑफ ग्रिड। और अनदर काइंड ऑफ ग्रिड इज maybe the same places, different organization uses different kind of arrangement, मतलब different arrangement मतलब different heterogeneous server. अब suppose IBM has one IBM has file server and HP is use web server. So IBM file server is want to connect with the HP web server. So it's just an example, don't take it seriously, it's just an example. So these two web server and file server, two different configuration server but in a same geographic location, suppose Bangalore. So these two are connected in a interconnection network. That is another thing, this is called heterogeneity of the server. Heterogeneous server are connected in an interconnection network, that is also called the grid. Okay, similarly the large number of cluster can connect it with grid. It is dynamically aggregation of heterogeneous computing node and its scale was its scale was increasing nationwide or worldwide. वर्ल्ड वाइड इसलिए बोला जा रहा है क्योंकि ब्रांचेस अलग अलग ज्योग्राफिक लोकेशन के होमोजेनियस क्लस्टर को भी ये बाइंड करता है, एग्रीगेट करता है, या सेम ज्योग्राफिक लोकेशन के अलग अलग डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ सर्वर्स को भी एग्रीगेट करता है। ठीक है, सो क्लस्टर बिकम अ क्वाइट कॉमन रिसोर्सेज। ऑब्वियसली वी नो क्लस्टर मींस द कॉमन रिसोर्सेज। दे वर ऑफन अंडर यूटिलाइज्ड, कभी कभी अंडर यूटिलाइज्ड भी हो जाता है। तो न्यू प्रॉब्लम वे रिक्वायरिंग कंप्यूटेशनल पावर दैट वेंट बियॉन्ड द कैपेबिलिटी ऑफ सिंगल क्लस्टर। तब हम लोग को मल्टी क्लस्टर की जरूरत होता है, बट मल्टी क्लस्टर अगर लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस में हो तो वी नीड हाई बैंडविड्थ कनेक्टिविटी, एंड दैट इज माई ग्रिड। दैट इज माई ग्रिड। तो यहाँ है क्लस्टर टू ग्रिड कनेक्शन, हाउ cluster to grid changing is there. So all these elements led to develop a grid which now serve multitude user across the world. Okay, multitude user across the world. Okay, this is the main thing of grid computing. Now I am coming to the point. What is cloud? Cloud is basically, now you can say this is very good drawing. It's a very good architecture. That this is a bubble of what? Bubble of data center. Within that there are so many clusters are there, homogeneous cluster are there. This is a one data center, this is another data center, this is another data center, this is another, this is another, this is another. Maybe a same geographic location or maybe a different geographic location. These are heterogeneity, अलग अलग भी हो सकता है heterogeneity. These are also heterogeneous cluster, these are also heterogeneous cluster server, these are also heterogeneous cluster server, these are also heterogeneous cluster server, and all connected in a grid, all connected in a grid, all connected in a grid. High configuration bandwidth interconnection network, that is called grid. So this is called grid of cluster, which is another name is cloud, which another name is cloud. Okay, so next is basically location. These are heterogeneity, अलग अलग भी हो सकता है heterogeneity. These are also heterogeneous cluster, these are also heterogeneous cluster server, these are also heterogeneous cluster server, these are also heterogeneous cluster server, and all connected in a grid, all connected in a grid, all connected in a grid. High configuration bandwidth interconnection network, that is called grid. So this is called grid of cluster, which is another name is cloud, which another name is cloud. Okay, so next is basically Toyota, Walmart, Tata Group, and Citibank. They have their own cloud, but they want to, their main motive is to grow their business, because Toyota is an automobile company, Walmart is a retailing company, Tata Group is basically for their manufacturing company, Citibank is a banking company. So they want to grow their business. They have their own cloud, so they do not manage their hardware and software and middleware. So for that they just pay for IBM, Dell, Intel, HP, Cisco, Sun, Salesforce का Sun for to look after their infrastructure or maintenance maintenance or maintain their infrastructure by these companies. Okay, and similarly their software services and application all are basically maintained by SAP, Oracle, and Microdynamics. Okay, similarly their middleware is also managed by IBM, Dell, Intel, HP, like Cisco, Google, and Microsoft Azure. Okay, so these actually company, these are the company, they have their own private cloud. They just want to grow their business. They do not concentrate on the that how to migrate, how to configure, how to maintain their infrastructure, their middleware, their software, their applications. These for for these work, they actually hire these company to maintain, how to maintain, configure, migrate their infrastructure, as well as the middle layer, and as well as the software service. Okay, so in this way actually cloud computing works. So it is help one another, so that basically cloud service provider जो है वो क्या करते हैं, ओनली दे क्लाउड सर्विस प्रोवाइडर बेसिकली जो यहाँ पे जो है टोयोटा कंपनी जिसको हायर करता है उसका इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को मेंटेन करने के लिए, खाली वो मेंटेन नहीं करता, उसका इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को डेवलप भी करता है, डिप्लॉय भी करता है, माइग्रेट भी करता है, कॉन्फ़िगर भी करता है, और वो श्रिंकिंग करना, ग्रोइंग बढ़ाना, ये सब काम जब उसका काम ज्यादा रहता है तो उसको ग्रो करना, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को ग्रो करना, और जब उसका काम कम रहता है तो उसको श्रिंक कैसे करेंगे, वो सारी चीज को ये मैनेजमेंट करते हैं. तो ऑल द रिक्वायरमेंट, हार्डवेयर रिक्वायरमेंट और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर रिक्वायरमेंट is done by these company for Toyota, Walmart, Tata Group, and Citibank. Similarly, their middleware is also basically also maintained by this company along with Google and Microsoft Azure. They all try to manage their middleware part and their software part and application part, how to develop and deploy their application in different aspects. They can manage by those are managed by SAP, Oracle, Microdynamics, etc. Okay, so these are the service provider of cloud. Okay, now this is you can say there you just in BIT you just take you just see one machine, one almirah. Here is a rack, here is a several almirah in one line, several almirah in this line, several almirah in this line, several almirah in this line. It means one data center consists of 10,000 almirahs, and each almirah consists of either 4 rack, 8 rack, 12 rack, or 24 rack. Maximum 24 rack servers are there. 24 rack servers, and each rack maybe if it is each rack consists of 8 server, it means 24 rack is 24 into 8 into how many cluster are there? 10,000. So 10,000. So this much amount of data in one data center, this much amount of clusters are already stored. And this much amount of store nodes, server nodes are there. Not cluster, server nodes are there. Cluster are 10,000 and 24 rack server, each are 24 rack and 8 server in each rack. So 24 into 8 into 10,000. In just an example I'm taking. So Yahoo, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, Twitter, eBay, they have their own data center in worldwide. This is one data center in world. Suppose in America, this is in Europe, this is in India, this is in Russia, this is in China, this is in maybe Spain, maybe अलग अलग country में अलग अलग जगह में ये रखा हुआ है, ठीक है. And these all are connected in a high configuration interconnection network. So that's why but number of time I'm taking the term network, not internet, network. Okay, and this is internet as a cloud that I have already told that Google has its own cloud data centers, Salesforce has its own data center, but Google Force and some work of Salesforce is taking care of Google. So they make a bubble under bubble. They make a bubble under bubble. So this is called internet as cloud. मतलब cloud, internet as cloud मतलब क्या है? Internet मतलब इसका जो bubble है, इसको हम लोग बोलते हैं bubble under bubble. बबल अंडर बबल, जस्ट लाइक अ लूप अंडर लूप, नेस्टेड लूप, वैसे ही है बबल अंडर बबल. और इसको हम लोग बोलते हैं इंटरनेट एज क्लाउड. इट मींस विद इन इंटरनेट देयर आर सेवरल क्लाउड्स आर वर्किंग एंड दे ऑल आर इंटरकनेक्टेड टू ईच अदर. जैसे याहू कनेक्टेड विद Amazon डायरेक्टली, सो सम पोर्शन ऑफ याहू work for Amazon and some portion of Amazon work for Yahoo. So like that, they have their own cloud, and these two are making another cloud. Okay, so this is cloud under another cloud, or cloud within the cloud. Okay, so इसको हम लोग बोलते हैं internet as cloud. Now I'm coming to the definition part of the cloud computing. So definition is very, very important because first definition is computing resources. Computing resources are actually, it can be anything. It can be RAM, CPU, storage, network, memory, server, desktop, etc. Many more are there. I have not mentioned over here. First definition said that cloud is built a pooling of resources hosted over the internet. Yes, ये तो हमने पढ़ लिया. Pool of resources hosting over the internet or available over the internet. So cloud computing is internet-based computing. So cloud, another name is cloud computing is internet-based computing, whereby shared resources, because same resources shared by many startup company or many company who has their who cannot afford designated server to buy a designated server, they can share the resources, software, information that are provided to the computer and other devices on demand basis, like electricity and grid. Electricity भी हमारे घर में जितनी जरूरत है उसके हिसाब से हम bill pay करते हैं. Similar. Definition 2 said that cloud computing is a on demand services. Obviously जब तक आपको डिमांड में है चाहिए तब तक आप लोग उसके लिए रेंट पे करो, अदरवाइज जब आपका काम खत्म हो जाता है you just get back to your resources to internet. Okay, so provided by commercial provider. Commercial provider कौन है? तीन नाम यहाँ पे दिया है, Amazon, Google and Microsoft Azure. ये छोटे हम लोग पढ़ेंगे भी नहीं, यही तीन सर्विस प्रोवाइडर को पढ़ना है, इसलिए हमने तीनों नाम दिया. They host their resources over the internet that we already know and distributed on a given basis of demand. And distribute करते हैं जैसे डिमांड है उसके हिसाब से. जो क्लाउड कंज्यूमर होता है वो पे करता है प्रोवाइडर को at the based on their usage. Okay, जितना यूसेज चाहिए उसके हिसाब से वो पे करता है. ठीक है. Now definition 3, the main principle is offering computing, storage and software as a services. मतलब here it provides three kind of services: IaaS, PaaS and SaaS. And everything is provided. अगर सब कुछ चाहिए तो उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं SaaS, everything as a service. They provide everything as a service. XAAS. ठीक है. Definition 4, cloud computing model is similar for utility services. Obviously जैसे electricity, water, gas, telephone ये सब utility है. Similarly utility service इसीलिए बोला जाता है क्योंकि after getting the services how people are happy because they मैंने जो Microsoft Words को खरीदने के लिए लाइसेंस वर्जन को खरीदने के लिए हमको 1 लाख पे करना पड़ता है, या जो MATLAB को खरीदने के लिए 1.5 लाख हमको पे करना पड़ता है. बट अगर हम क्लाउड सर्विस प्रोवाइडर से बोले तो काफी चीपर रेट में उसको हम लोग खरीद सकते हैं. तो यूटिलिटी ऑब्वियसली यूटिलिटी तभी होता है व्हेन योर गोल इज फुलफिल्ड एंड यू आर हैप्पी. सो इट इज बेसिकली कॉल्ड अ यूटिलिटी सर्विसेज. ओके, बिकॉज वी आर हैप्पी फॉर गेटिंग दोस सर्विसेज फ्रॉम द इंटरनेट इंस्टेड ऑफ बाइंग दिस सर्विस. ओके, then I'm coming to 1969. Here network terms is there. कैसे network term आया? In 1969 actually the ARPANET project has come. This ARPANET project is coming. This is a project of defense. Okay, डिफेंस का प्रोजेक्ट था क्योंकि ये क्या इसने क्या किया, अपना वेस्ट कोस्ट ऑफ अमेरिका में अपना एक नेटवर्क बनाया. और वो डिफेंस का नेटवर्क था तो बहुत फायरवॉल था उसमें, उसको कोई भी एक्सेस नहीं कर सकता था. सिमिलरली वो क्या किया, ईस्ट कोस्ट ऑफ अमेरिका में भी अपना नेटवर्क को बनाया और उसने चाहा कि दोनों नेटवर्क एक में आ जाए, दोनों नेटवर्क एक साथ कनेक्ट हो जाए. तो उसके वो जो दोनों नेटवर्क को कनेक्ट करा ईस्ट कोस्ट और वेस्ट कोस्ट अमेरिका का, उसके लिए उसको इतने फायरवॉल लगा दिया कि बाहर का कोई नेटवर्क, बाहर का कोई कंप्यूटर माने बाहर का कोई भी उसको एक्सेस नहीं कर सकता है. ठीक है. तो बेसिकली यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है कि इन 1969 लियोनार्डो I think it's a Clean Rock. Leonardo is Clean Rock, one of the chief scientists of the original Advanced Research Project Agency network. That is full name is ARPANET, which seeded the internet. Said as of now, computer network are still the infancy world. But as they grow up, मतलब ये जो ग्रो किया उन्होंने कंपनी यहाँ से लेके यहाँ तक, और दोनों को अगर एक नेटवर्क में ले आए तो ग्रो जितना कर सकते हैं उतना ग्रो करो, और उनको एक कंप्यूटर में ले आए, बिकम सोफिस्टिकेटेड. We will probably see the spread of computer utility. Basically यहाँ पे ये computer utility का spread up कैसे हुआ था उसको दिखाने के लिए वो ये चीज का एग्जांपल दिया. Which like present electric telephonic utilities with service individual home and office across the country. Not only across the country, अभी तो हम लोग वर्ल्ड वाइड वेब माने बाहर के से भी कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, माने जैसे कि हम लोग अभी अमेरिका से भी बात करना, अमेरिका में आप लोग जो कजन्स वगैरह रहते हैं उनसे बात कर सकते हैं, या आपके कोई भी अगर फैमिली बाहर आउटकट्स में रहे, माने ऑस्ट्रेलिया या अदर कंट्रीज में रहे, उनके साथ आप बात कर सकते हैं. तो वी ऑल आर कनेक्टेड इन अ सिंगल नेटवर्क. सो दिस इज कॉल्ड वर्ल्ड वाइड नेटवर्क. सो यही ARPANET प्रोजेक्ट से वर्ल्ड वाइड नेटवर्क का शुरुआत हुआ, यहीं से www का कांसेप्ट शुरू हुआ. ठीक है, दिस इज कॉल्ड वर्ल्ड वाइड वेब. ओके, सो डेफिनेशन 6, ये खाली एक www वर्ल्ड वाइड वेब के बारे में बताया गया कि कैसे पूरी चीज को एक नेटवर्क में हम कर सकते हैं. अभी इतने हायर कॉन्फ़िगरेशन इंटरकनेक्शन नेटवर्क आ गया है कि हम लोग वर्ल्ड वाइड वेब के थ्रू वेब के साथ इसको यूज करके हम लोग वर्ल्ड में कहीं भी किसी भी जगह में कोई भी चीज को एक्सेस कर सकते हैं. ओके, सो नेक्स्ट इज आई डोंट केयर वेयर माय सर्वर आर who manage them, where my documents are stored. Okay, where my application are posted. I just want them always available and access from any devices connected through internet. And I'm willing to pay for these services as long as I need. This is the actual definition of cloud. This is a commercial definition of cloud. As a person, I don't know where my server are, which server I'm using, because I'm a cloud consumer. I'm not a cloud provider. Cloud provider concerned that which server he will provide me. Okay. He will manage all my data. He will manage all my documents. He will store the document in his storage area network. Okay. He just I develop the application, and it's his work to deploy my application in the over the internet. Okay. But whenever I need that, whenever I need to access them, I can access through internet, from any device, from anywhere, and anytime. Okay. And for that, I am willing to pay the services as long as I need to, as long as I need. Okay. And definition 7 said cloud computing refer both application delivered as services over the internet. मतलब obviously cloud computing deliver application and services. These two are different things. I have already told in a class that application can be downloaded, but services cannot be downloaded. It is only used, and then again you back to the service provider that I have already used that services. Now I'm not required anymore. Okay, but application is an application which you can download, and जब तक आपको चाहिए उसके बाद आप उसको डिलीट भी कर सकते हैं. ठीक है. तो Amazon का सर्विसेज क्या होता है? सर्विसेज हो गया EC2, S3, ये अमेजन का सर्विस है. गूगल का सर्विस क्या है? गूगल ऐप इंजन नाम ही है, तो गूगल एप्लीकेशन सर्विस प्रोवाइडर है. ठीक है. बट अमेजन का भी एप्लीकेशन है जो हम लोग यूज करते हैं फॉर शॉपिंग पर्पस, फॉर पेइंग पर्पस. ठीक है. फॉर बिलिंग पर्पस, बहुत सारे पर्पस, फॉर बिल पेमेंट और ये सब के बिलिंग पर्पस, शॉपिंग पर्पस, ये सब के लिए हम लोग अमेजन का भी एप्लीकेशन यूज करते हैं. तो उसके लिए हम लोग डाउनलोड करके कर सकते हैं, बट सर्विस यूज करने के लिए उसको हम लोग पैसा देके उसको उसके सर्विस को यूज करते हैं, और जब हमारा काम खत्म हो जाता है हम उसको बैक कर देते हैं. ठीक है. सिमिलरली गूगल ऐप इंजन का भी गूगल ड्राइव हम लोग यूज करते हैं. ड्राइव के स्पेस हमको ज्यादा चाहिए तो गूगल को पैसा पे करना पड़ेगा. मेल के स्पेस ज्यादा चाहिए तो मेल के लिए पैसा पे करना पड़ेगा. सो गूगल ड्राइव, these all are their services. And application क्या है? Chatting, Google Talk, these are the application which we basically use. Okay. Similarly, Microsoft Azure is basically used their middleware. When we need middleware, we just contact with better operating system, better container, and in a container, better framework, better pattern, better systems, better system calls, better libraries we need to making our application more beautiful, presentable, like that. So for that, you contact with Microsoft Azure. Okay. Definition 8. A definition is US and NIST, based on National Institute of Standard Technology. This is a US National Institute of Standard Technology. NIST is very important definition. This is a standard definition of cloud computing. That cloud computing is a model enabling ubiquitous, convenient, on-demand network access. Obviously, ubiquitous, convenient, on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable computing resources. Example: network, server, storage, application, and services that can be rapidly provisioned.
Why can't there be one single definition? Why are there 9 different definitions?
तो रैपिडली वो प्रोविजन भी हो रहा है, रैपिडली प्रोविजन एंड रिलीज विथ मिनिमल मैनेजमेंट एफर्ट और सर्विस प्रोवाइडर इंटरेक्शन. मतलब सर्विस प्रोवाइडर के साथ एसएलए माइग्रेशन करो, ये सारे आपके ऑटोमेटिकली प्रोविजन हो जाएगा. जितने भी रिसोर्सेज चाहिए वो प्रोविजनली आप एक्सेस उसको कर सकते हैं. ठीक है. एंड दे विल मिनिमम मैनेजमेंट के थ्रू वो रिलीज भी कर देता है कौन? क्लाउड सर्विस प्रोवाइडर. तो देयर इज अ क्लाउड सर्विस प्रोवाइडर एंड क्लाउड कंज्यूमर. इन बिटवीन देम एसएलए माइग्रेशन इज देयर, सर्विसेबल एग्रीमेंट इज देयर. फॉर दैट we can easily provision those resources like this application server, storage, and services. We can easily provision these resources, and they release the resources with minimal management, and that management is done by the service provider. Okay. Now this is actually the NIST set. And after NIST, there are another 9th definition over here. A cloud is a type of parallel and distributed system. Parallel and distributed system क्यों बोला जाता है? क्योंकि ये है distributed system, but its work is parallelly done. मतलब parallelly मतलब क्या है कि एक ही application multiple user can access. ठीक है. That's why the work is parallel, but it is a distributed system. Okay. Consists of collection of interconnected virtual computer, जिसको हम लोग virtual machine बोलते हैं. Interconnected virtual machines. They are dynamically provisioned. Dynamically मतलब कभी भी जुड़ सकता है, कभी भी हट सकता है. तो they are dynamically provisioned and are presented as one or more unified computing resources based on service level agreement. यही हम बोल रहे थे SLA, service level agreement established between. It is a negotiation between cloud service provider and cloud consumer. Okay. So this is another definition of cloud computing. And it is also cloud computing is also called a utility computing. ये हमने पहले ही बता दिया था, because whichever IT services we are using now it is virtualized and provided via different kind of reference architecture, and that are created by provider and vendor rather than to end user. Okay. So virtualized manner में अगर single server है उसको virtualize कर देते हैं, virtual server में divide कर देते हैं. That is a virtual reality world. So virtual single main server, this is a physical server, and these all are virtual server. Okay, these all are virtual server. All virtual server में multiple application programming running. So one virtual server may be shared by 2-3%. Okay, one virtual server may be shared by 2-3%. Okay, so in this way it is basically working. So cloud computing is utility computing, first of all, because it is a kind of virtualized server. Private server is virtualized by the use of virtualization process. बाद में आऊंगी virtualization process क्या है? Virtualization process, and it provide all the providers, माने providers मतलब application जो access कर रहा है या application जो develop कर रहा है, all the providers that share basically that virtual resources or virtual servers, and it is a common it is a kind of architecture which is created by cloud service provider and SLA is done between cloud service provider and cloud consumer. There is no need of end user मतलब cloud consumer, no need to take care of its maintenance and its reliability, storage, कुछ भी इसको देखने की जरूरत है. So this is the ninth definition, and this definition is basically said by Chris Polker. This ninth definition is said by this Chris Polker. Okay, so these are actually the cloud computing definitions. So in next lecture we will come to vision, mission of cloud computing, characteristics and benefit of cloud computing, etc. Okay, till then I'm just ending this session.
What is your oh, crap. Alright, guys, break time till 12 p.m. I'll just note down the chat as well. Then I'll continue again. Oh man. This pressure hurts one good. Uh, I'll take a couple of minutes more.
Okay. So today we will discuss the vision of cloud computing. Before that, I just choose the pen. Yes. Okay. So vision of cloud computing is basically whenever the term vision coming, it's basically the long term वे वी हैव थिंक अबाउट क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग ठीक है लॉन्ग टर्म में क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग कैसे काम करेगा नहीं करेगा उसको बेसिकली स्पेसिफाई करता है ठीक है देन इट इज ऑल्सो क्वालिटेटिव because quality why it is called qualitative because long term vision is always qualitative we cannot quantify that how many days it will work properly and again how many resources will be added what are the new things will be added because nowadays all things are AI driven methodology used so it is also a part of cloud computing so vision of cloud computing is just like a vision of different utility services like water electricity gas telephone etc ठीक है so these all utility services are needed when in our daily life and it fulfill our all kind of it basically fulfill our all kind of necessity ठीक है similarly in case of cloud computing we can say that whenever we require the thing to be accessed thing इसलिए मैंने कहा thing can be anything it's maybe a photo it may be any document it may be any services it may be any application when we want to download or when we try to access it from the internet then anytime we can access so consumer are then able to pay to the service provider so that they use these kind of utility services from the cloud long term basis okay long term basis so vision is always also a long term services which is over the internet it is accessible over it is accessible from anywhere any device anytime okay and it is in qualitative measure because we cannot quantify that how much what are the different applications we want to access many applications we can access many services we can access many more time one services we can access similarly anytime the single application we can use so for shopping we number of time uses the application of Amazon or application of Myntra or an application of what may show like that okay so basically vision are long term process and it is also qualitative in nature okay so and one more thing is cloud consumer is basically will be able to access those utility resources those utility resources or you may say the data you may say the information you may say the services you may say the application you may say the resources it can be anything from the cloud anywhere in the world on demand okay anywhere in the world on demand okay second thing the cloud consumer this is the first thing second thing that the cloud consumer must be assured that whatever they access that should be robust if they access infrastructure as a services that should be robust enough that they can always be available anytime okay that they can always be available anytime third thing is any computing services that should be highly reliable highly scalable highly automatically accessible and we can do ubiquitous access and dynamic discovery and computability facility okay so these are the third point of vision so main visions are cloud computing cloud as a cloud consumer main vision are these three so as a cloud consumer he will always able to access any application any data any information any services any application any resources from the cloud anywhere in the world on demand first part second part is cloud whatever services they want to access maybe IaaS PaaS or SaaS any services they want to access that should be robust enough and that will be always available in time okay and third thing a cloud consumer whichever services they will use that need to be reliable scalable automatically accessible and also support ubiquitous access dynamic discovery and computability okay so based on these three things cloud consumer give their long term goal or long term vision basically achieve their long term vision in a qualitative manner okay in a qualitative manner so these are the vision of cloud computing depends on some key topics over here so today I will start with service provisioning model which is this is number one from my side service provisioning model now what service provisioning model actually do the vision of cloud computing is it is basically cloud computing another name is utility based computing that we all know so utility is basically provisioning service provisioning model it is provisioned utility provision utility is always provisioned over the internet and it can be transformed so massive transformation so second point is first point is utilities is always provisioned over the internet second point is massive transformation okay so massive transformation of the entire utility in 21st century is just a minute in 21st century is many massive transformations of the computing utility in the 21st century happen because of service provider. इट मीन्स मैसिव ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन, मतलब क्या है कि अगर Amazon वेब सर्विसेज पहले जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोवाइड करता था अभी उससे बेटर हो गया, सो एवरी टाइम हिज इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इज इवॉल्विंग, बेटरमेंट इज देयर, सो मैसिव ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन ऑफ द यूटिलिटी कंप्यूटिंग जो कंप्यूटिंग यूटिलिटीज है अभी 21st सेंचुरीज में इज कैपेबल टू प्रोवाइड सर्विसेज एंड दैट सर्विसेज आर डे बाय डे बेटर एंड बेटर. Okay, day by day it is better and better, and it is rapidly accessible, it is rapidly available and accessible over the internet. So this is actually called the service provisioning model. Okay, next third point, 1 2 3, third point of service provisioning model, we may say that third point, we may say that at the IT industry, ठीक है, which is a startup company, suppose some IT industry is a startup, ठीक है, so they basically want to grow their business. So in a क्या होता है, in a cost effective manner, so they want to reduce their capital cost, capital.
Hey guys,
or purchasing or consuming services from the services over the internet. Just a minute. In 21st century is many massive transformations of the computing utility in the 21st century happen because of service provider. इट मीन्स मैसिव ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन, मतलब क्या है कि अगर Amazon वेब सर्विसेज पहले जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोवाइड करता था अभी उससे बेटर हो गया, सो एवरी टाइम हिज इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इज इवॉल्विंग, बेटरमेंट इज देयर, सो मैसिव ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन ऑफ द यूटिलिटी कंप्यूटिंग जो कंप्यूटिंग यूटिलिटीज है अभी 21st सेंचुरीज में इज कैपेबल टू प्रोवाइड सर्विसेज एंड दैट सर्विसेज आर डे बाय डे बेटर एंड बेटर. Okay, day by day it is better and better, and it is rapidly accessible, it is rapidly available and accessible over the internet. So this is actually called the service provisioning model. Okay, next third point of service provisioning model, we may say that third point, we may say that at the IT industry, okay, so they basically want to grow their business, so in a क्या होता है, in a cost effective manner, so they want to reduce their capital cost by purchasing or consuming services from the services over the internet. ठीक है, सो दे वांट टू रिड्यूस देयर कैपिटल कॉस्ट. वो अगर आईटी ने बिजनेस को ग्रो करने के लिए वो उस पैसे को यूज करेंगे, ना कि वो कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव करेगा बिजनेस को, ना कि वो कैपिटल कॉस्ट को रिड्यूस करेगा, सो दैट वो अपने बिजनेस में वो पैसा लगा सकता है और वो उसका बिजनेस बढ़े, और वो उसके लिए जो सर्विसेज चाहिए, जो रिसोर्सेज चाहिए, वो इंटरनेट के थ्रू वो क्लाउड सर्विस प्रोवाइडर से वो ले लेगा, लेकिन वो जो कैपिटल कॉस्ट का जो खर्चा है वो अपने बिजनेस ग्रो करने के लिए यूज करेगा. ठीक है, सो दिस इज एक्चुअली द सर्विस प्रोविजनिंग मॉडल एक्चुअली वर्क. यहाँ पे तीन टर्म है, वन इज सर्विसेज, one is provision, it is already provision over the internet, and model, this provision model, service provision model, how to work. So service provision